calling you about some inmate information.
His last name?
Swaller, S-W-A-L-L-E-R.
And first name?
Brent, B-R-E-T.
And how may I help you?
Okay, can I ask what he's being held for?
Just one second. 4 counts of intimidation.
4 counts of intimidation. Has a bond been set?
Right now, there's no bond for him at this time.
There's no bond?
Not at this time.
Nature of the allegation?
Huh?
Nature of the allegation?
Can I release that information? Get a police report.
Okay, was he arrested or was it a grand jury indictment?
He was arrested.
He was arrested at his private residence?
I can't release that information. You have to get a police report.
Okie dokie. Let me see. Was he opposed to public safety, threat, danger at any means? Was his conduct?
You have to get a police report.
Yes, ma'am. And one last question. How is his due process being recognized as the United States Constitution contract and the Indiana State Constitution contract requires to do so for bond?
So what now?
How is Mr. Swaller's due process for bond being upheld?
Well, he does not have a bond at this time. He's not bondable.
He's not bondable.
He's not bondable at this time.
Yes, ma'am. That's why. That's what drew the question of, was he a public threat, imminent threat, danger to himself or others at the time he was taken into custody?
So you have to get a police report, you know.
Do you have a police report number that I can pull?
No. We have to go into the city county building.
Go into the city?
City county building Monday through Friday during business hours. And you can get a police report.
During business hours. Okay. Now, by U.S. law, you may detain somebody for 72 hours, and then charge or release and bond must be posted or taken in front of the magistrate. Does he have a court date?
Take that up with the court, sir.
Does he have a court date?
Yeah, God do give out the information.
Yes, ma'am. I'm fully aware what to do in court. Does he have a court date? Bond date?
A court date has not been scheduled this time.
So at this time, you are holding Brent Swaller, and you have not established a reasonable cause, probable cause hearing to establish bail or bond, which is a violation of his due process. So are we willing to make a remedy for that, or do we need to file a complaint? Wow. They hung up. Okay. Let the record reflect that the Marion County Sheriff has violated Brent Swaller's due process at this point in time. The record reflects today's date, April 1st, 2016, and it is 4:44 p.m. This concludes today's record.
County Jail. How may I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, I was just on the phone with you. I apologize. I don't know if we disconnected or if you hung up.
Okay, then what's your question, sir?
Yes, ma'am. My question was regarding an inmate, Mr. Swaller, who's being held with no bond, and I'm trying to determine when it is his bond hearing will be established, because I do know...
I can't answer that because I don't know until I get updated with the information.
Until you get...
What's his first name?
His name is Brent, B-R-E-T, Swaller, S-W-A-L-L-E-R. So, we're trying to establish his release and to get his due process underway.
Okay, now I can't, all that come from the courts. So all that I can do is give out what I have on my system.
I understand,
Right
ma'am.
now, he does not have a court date established or a bond amount.
Okay. So he absolutely is being held without just cause, is what you're telling me, because they have not...
I'm not telling you nothing like that. I'm going to let you know that he does not have a court date. He does not have a bond at this time.
Right.
And all that comes from the court.
So if he does not have a court date, he does not have a bond, and so far he does not have a victim, which so far there is no crime, because in order to have a crime, you must first have a victim or damage to property, corpus delicti.
But don't pick it up with me, okay?
Well, you're right.
You give out the information. He's in here for 4 counts of intimidation, and they all felonies, okay?
Well, sure, that's the nature of the allegation.
A court date scheduled at this time.
Yes, ma'am. I understand, and I'm trying to get better clarification of exactly what my public servants are doing, because I am a taxpayer and I supervise all government officials.
Well, ma'am, you just get up with the right people, okay?
Well, yes, ma'am. I want to make sure I have all the information correct before I continue my investigation.
Well, do what you have to do, sir. That's your right.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I'm on the phone with you, so please cooperate.
That's your right. Do what you
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
do.
And I'm asking for your cooperation so I can have better clarification of this
I
situation.
just gave you I just gave you all I'm going to give you. There's no court date. There's no bond. There's nothing else I can give you at this time.
Okay, so may I ask you, is this a National Defense Authorization Act to where we are holding United States citizens for no just cause, no bond, no due process?
With the courts, okay?
But-
I'm not the judge, okay?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Get with the courts.
Yes, ma'am. Please
I can help you because I know I'll be ready. I got other callers on other issues.
Okay, well, perhaps I can speak with your supervisor then to get a better clarification of exactly what's going on with Mr. Swaller. Okay, I guess if you will notice, the record reflects that she absolutely has hung up again for the second time. Thank you. Because I'm still trying to get clarification with exactly what's going on with Mr. Swaller. Thank you.
911, what is your emergency?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this was 911. I dialed 317-327-3811.
Now, I did both, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is a non-emergency call, and I do not wish to take up any time. So I will...
That's fine. I did both.
Okay, can I get a shift captain of the Marion County Sheriff?
I can give you the... hold on a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
We dispatch IMPD, but let me see. Hold on.
Yes, ma'am. This is non-emergency. Thank you.
supervisor, okay?
Okay, thank you. Have a glorious weekend.
Uh-huh.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
How are you?
Good, thank you. My name is Brian Coates, and I'm calling to find out some information about an inmate. And I had contacted a phone number, 327-1576, and I was speaking with the jail administrator. She could not give me proper clarification of the situation, and she disconnected the phone call twice. So I'm calling to find out about an individual who may have been unlawfully detained, may have been unlawfully arrested, because the information that I do have, no bond has been set, no court hearing has been set, and no victim has been identified. So I'm trying to get some cooperation and clarification to the contract of the United States Constitution, the Indiana State Constitution, and Mr. Brent Swaller's due process rights that are guaranteed to him by contract.
Okay, so what were you trying to find out? Is court date and bond and all that information?
Yes, ma'am, and I'm being told that he doesn't have any of that set, and then by that point, 72 hours will have expired, and his due process will have been violated. Because, well, the nature of the crime, from what I understand or comprehend at this point in time, is that, well, actually I've been given no information. They're refusing to give the information. They said that I can pick up a police report Monday. So now we're getting another violation for due process of full disclosure. I'm sorry?
You don't know the name of the person that you were trying to get information on?
Oh, no, ma'am, I do. It's Brent, B-R-E-T, Swaller, S-W-A-L-L-E-R. Yes, ma'am. E-T, yeah. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, he was arrested today.
Okay, they're probably telling you that. Do you know what time he was arrested?
I do not have the time of his arrest. They told me that I could go get that from the court records on Monday.
It could be that he's on process, so that's why they're telling you that he doesn't have a bond or court date set because he hasn't been completely processed. Because I'm not seeing him in here.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
haven't processed him yet. He's not going to be in here.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
That's what brought the nature of the question to why he has not been processed yet if he's been detained.
Well, let's say it's APC, it can take them a while to get somebody actually processed into the system.
So,
On how many people they have down there that have been arrested. I can't speak for the APC because we're different from APC, and I'm not
Right.
100% up to speed with their
yes, ma'am.
policy and how they do stuff. But I know it can take what I've heard is several hours to get somebody actually processed in. So
Yes, because at the minimum, there should be no excuse why a bond is not set.
bond at all. But like I said,
And the nature of no bond is... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It could be that, like I said, that she's telling you that because they haven't actually entered him in there yet.
Yes, ma'am, and that's where I'm trying to get the clarification. If it's just a matter of overcrowding due process violation, or if it is the fact that they do not want to release or reveal why it is he's being held with no bond. Because the only lawful reason to hold a citizen with no bond is if he's a threat to himself or others. And I don't believe that's what he was arrested for. So by law, he should have had a bond set when he was arrested. Even if it was $50,000, even if it was $200,000, a bond should have been set upon his booking. So I'm trying...
Do you know where by any chance he was when he was arrested?
That's why, no ma'am, I do not have that. That's why I called the jail administrator to find out the nature of the allegation, and she referred me to a courthouse open Monday at 8, which then puts me behind on arranging appropriate bail for his release.
Was she able to confirm with you that he was, in fact,
Yes, ma'am.
arrested, though?
Yes, ma'am. She confirmed me that they had him and that his bond had not been set and that there had been no court date set either. So that concerns me because at the minimum, there should have at least been a court date set so that we know on Monday where we stand today. So there is another... Yes, ma'am. May I get your supervisor, please?
There's no one available.
You are the only person available.
Yes, right now I am.
Okay. I just got off the telephone with the Marion County Sheriff, who informed me that the APC is the processing center operating underneath the authority of the Marion County Sheriff.
Well, you can go to APC. There's a 752 East Market Street.
Okay, at this point in time, I'm unavailable to personally appear, so that's why, to the convenience of the telephone, and I'm trying to get better understanding and clarification on Brent Swaller's arrest. Because the arrest warrant...
All the information that I can give you, and I can only give information what I see on my system. Now you can go back or call back with the APC or go over there. And that address is
I was under the impression that I dialed 317-327-1576 for the APC Center.
No.
No. I apologize. Is there a phone number for the APC Center?
Not to the public, not. You can go over there in person.
Well, and there's no phone number, but why would I need to go there in person?
They have a phone number, they have a phone, but not public information.
Not public.
You have to go in person.
I have to go in person. Well, that would be a restriction of due process because I cannot travel to that location at this current point in time. But that does not stop Mr. Brent Swaller's bond. In order for the lawful arrest warrant...
Listen, sir, like I told you, all the court bonds and these payments, all they come from the courts.
Okay, so...
The judge or the one makes a decision, says court dates and bonds. I cannot set no court date or no bond for him. All that comes from the courts.
Ma'am, I'm fully aware of how people are arrested, with all due respect. And under a lawful arrest warrant that the judge should have already pre-signed, a bond should have already been set prior to his arrest.
She's taken up with the courts. I don't have to do it.
Yes, ma'am. It will be taken up with the court. That's why I'm making a phone call to you to understand exactly why his due process is being violated.
He explained to me why, or I do give out the information.
Yes, ma'am.
What you need to speak with is over at APC or go in person.
And I asked for a telephone number. And you are telling me I'm required to travel. So now I have to pay for due process when I can just make a phone call.
Yes, you have to pay. You have to come down in person.
Now, could I advise you that that is a violation?
That you go there and explain all that information to them.
Yes. Now, to force...
There's nothing I can do for you. Nothing else I can do for you.
Yes, you can help me get better understanding and clarification. And that's what you're doing. I thank you and appreciate your time. I'm not finished.
There's nothing I can do.
Well, I disagree. I believe there's still more that you can do to help me understand.
I cannot help you, sir.
I'm sorry. Do you work for the public sheriff's department?
No, I work.
Are you above the sheriff's department, ma'am? Because I called and spoke with the sheriff's department, and they told me that if I have any questions, I can call the APC. So are you telling me now that you have more authority than the sheriff?
Yes.
Yes. So the APC Center is now the acting sheriff of Marion County. Do I understand that correct?
I told you have to come in person to 752 East Market Street.
Okay, and I'm telling you that I cannot travel there at this point in time to get that information. And to tell me...
What can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. You can't travel.
Ma'am?
There's nothing I can do about it. I don't set the rules. I'm not the judge. I don't set the court dates. I don't set the bonds or none of that. Like I tell you, I just give out the information.
I understand that you are just answering the telephone. I understand.
That's all I do.
Okay, so please understand from where I am now. Now that I know where you are answering the phone, okay? I am attempting to find out, okay, what we can do to release Mr. Swaller, and I understand you're not the judge.
You do a TBC by the judge.
Well, okay.
He cannot pay a bond. He go to court, the judge will set a bond for you.
So how
pay a bond? That's if you're favorable.
How are we?
I don't know what the judge's decision is going to be at this time.
Well, if there was an arrest warrant, the decision for the bond should have already been on the arrest warrant.
Not necessarily. It's not a warrant. It's a new case. This is not a warrant.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. It's a new case. Thank you. Because I asked the nature of the allegations, and you refused to disclose that. And that's okay.
No, this is not a warrant. This is a new case.
This is okay. See, that helps me now get better clarification. Now I might understand why a bond has not been set. So now that this is a new case, this allows me to ask the next question to get better clarification and understanding. Okay? So with this being a new case, this would have been a dispatch call for a citizen in crisis? New case? There was a threat to the public, and the police were required to respond. New case?
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
Give out court information.
Okay. is there a phone number that I can contact with the person who is holding Mr. Swaller that can tell me if he was a threat to the public when he was arrested on this new case, or if it was in order for an arrest?
327.
There you go. 327. 3811. Is there anybody you recommend I should talk to?
No.
Okay.
Well, you pick up the phone and tell them what you called.
And they will tell me the information?
Okay.
Okay. Last thing, and I'm done, ma'am. Thank you. When I contacted the sheriff department in Marion, they could not find Mr. Swaller in the system. Yes, can I get a shift captain, please?
Are you need to speak to a supervisor first?
Yes, ma'am.
I can do that for you. Give me just 1 minute, okay?
Thank you.
Communications supervisor, how can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Hi. I think I might have spoke to you earlier. I'm calling about an inmate, and I called APC, and trying to follow up with the inmate's due process. We're trying to find out a bond, and we're being told that there's been no bond, no court hearing set. Follow back up on Monday, and that's a concern. When I followed up to ask the nature of the arrest, they kept that confidential. Well, not confidential, but they kept that quiet as well, and said you can retrieve that information on Monday as well. So that's a complete violation of the due process. Why we're trying to arrange a bond for this inmate. They said that I could at least, if they told me after the third time I called back, they finally cooperated, and they did at least reveal that it is a new case on this inmate, and that's all they will tell me. The questions I have is, if the judge issued an arrest warrant, there should have been a reason why there is no bond, or a bond should have been set so that we can make proper arrangements for this man's due process. We cannot make proper arrangements for this man's due process if we are told nothing and we have to wait until business hours 3 days from now, 2.5. So I'm calling for some assistance to at least find out what the nature of the arrest and why there is no bond. If there's an arrest warrant, then that should explain it. If he was arrested because he was a public threat, then that also explains no bond. And that tells us that there is no bond that we can get for this man. However, if this man was not a public threat and an arrest warrant was issued, we would like to know what the bond is. There are just a few questions that we need answered.
I can appreciate your position, sir, and I'm happy to provide you with the phone number for criminal court. I do not have that information. I don't have access to it, and even if I did so, I wouldn't be at liberty to disclose it to you. So I would start with the court, and if you feel like you're not receiving the cooperation that you need, I would consult an attorney and see if they have other avenues of getting that information for you on your behalf.
Okay, ma'am, may I advise you that I am an attorney at law, and the violations for due process against a citizen when the government attacks a citizen and makes a false arrest, it's $10,000 a day violation and civil penalties, and could be facing criminal penalties. So I do not know why I need to contact another attorney, as you put it, and the judge in the courts, although we will be there on Monday, it has been established to the United States Constitution, the Indiana State Constitution, and the contract that gives you the authority to uphold. So that is a violation. So to say that there's nothing you can do...
If my suggestion to contact an attorney was offensive, I apologize. You were not identified to me as an attorney. Secondly, you're calling the communications center
Yes,
to
ma'am.
handle the 911 dispatch. I do not have the information you're asking for, and I do not have the answers to your questions. But like I said, I'm happy to offer you the numbers to the court. If you have that information, do you know which court it was?
do I know? I'm getting zero information, which I just spoke with the ship captain, and I failed to get her name. I should have. And they informed me that the APC operates below the authority of the sheriff. So we now know, and I'm sorry, I apologize for not identifying myself as an attorney. I didn't really realize I had to. But now that you know that I do not need to seek an attorney, and I should also advise you that that would be also deprivation of rights under color of law. It's also extortion when you are telling somebody that their due process has to be paid for, because that's a guaranteed right for the United States Constitution, to the Indiana State Constitution, and the contract to the oath of the office which the Sheriff Department swore to uphold. So when the Sheriff Department becomes unlawful, that becomes yet again another violation of due process and a violation of the contract. So, I'm asking for lawful assistance that my tax dollars pay for, that my public trust, that when I hire a sheriff to uphold the contract which they swore to uphold, which is the Constitution of the United States of America and the Indiana State Constitution, I expect those duties to be fulfilled. Now, you don't have to answer any questions, but at that point in time, I need to advise you that you are no longer upholding the duties to the contract. Do you agree?
That's not the case at all, sir.
That's not the case?
As I informed you, this is the dispatch center. This is not the APC. This is not the jail. I do not have access to the information you're asking for.
Okay,
I
so
can't answer those questions.
Since
I'm trying to help you get to the appropriate person that can answer those, but you're telling me, a lot of information that's not really helping me get to you to where you need to be.
Okay, let me
information is that you need. Who do you need to speak with?
Let me redirect then. I need to speak with somebody that is going to be able to give me the answers today about why the inmate is being held with violations of due process, okay? And if it's the APC Center, now when I asked the APC Center for a supervisor, she informed me she was the only individual that I could speak to, and she just answers the phones. Now, ma'am, we're talking about someone who has been falsely arrested in deprivation of rights. That's a very huge issue. This needs to be addressed, and it needs to be corrected and clarified. That's why I'm calling you. The APC informed me I need to call area code 317-327-3811. So I am now doing what APC told me to do. So if you need to give me to your higher shift commander, I will gracefully accept that, and I'll wait on hold, or I can take another phone number that will give me direct communication to the jailer who is holding this United States citizen.
Okay. Speaking to another supervisor is not going to accomplish that. What I would suggest that you do is reach out to maybe try to find out which judge was the one that made this order. Or you said that you tried to speak to a supervisor at the ATC and there wasn't one available?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. The lady that answered the phone said she was the only person that I could talk to. And she hung up on me twice, as I was trying to get better understanding on why I cannot find any information on this inmate, and I have to wait 3 days, because then it makes me question, how am I supposed to prepare for this man's bond if nobody will tell me anything about him? That begins to paint the picture of a conspiracy to deprive a United States citizen's rights of liberty, pursuit of life, and happiness. And that, again, is another violation of due process that violates the contract that gives the Sheriff Department the authority to operate, that we trust you will not attack us. We trust that you will not throw us in jail and keep us there. We trust that you will give us bond. That system has been established since the foundations of this country, and it shall be upheld.
Okay. Without having a case number or without knowing which judge was involved, it's hard to know which courtroom to give you the number for. I assume you have access to a lot of that information anyway.
I have a name for you if you want to maybe look it up in the system, but from what I understand, you guys can't cross communications like that.
Right.
Okay, so now my question then is to this is, if the sheriff cannot keep